So it's about as packed as a grid can get here at Silverstone. Minis as far as the eye can see, stretching out behind me. Right up front in the F56s, we have got Lawrence Davey and we've also got Lee Patterson. It is over to you.
Thanks very much, Michelle. So, Lee Patterson and Lawrence Davey sharing the front row of the grid from Charlie Butler-Henderson and Chris Smith. This then how they line up in full, with Patterson and Davey from Butler-Henderson Smith. Then William Phillips and Rob Smith on row 3, Harry Volkard and David Grady. Ben Spallock completing the top 10 of the JCW runners, Neil Newstead and Hamish Brandon to the 4, clear of Urkel Lindstedt and Alan Taylor. Then Ricky Page at the front of the Cooper class from Henry Neal, then Nathan Harrison and Max Bladen. Cooper class cars can always be relied upon for some pretty frantic dicing, as the 5-second board shown to the drivers. The red lights on the gantry about to flash out, which they do now, and away we go. As the field charged towards Copse for the first time. Will it be the blue car of Davey, the bright red car of Patterson, who takes the advantage? It is Lee Patterson around the outside of Lawrence Davey as they head through the right-hander. Meanwhile, Henry Neal's had an excellent start in the yellow Cooper class car. He challenges Ricky Page through Copse, but flicks it sideways. So it's Page who leads the Cooper class cars as Patterson carries a lot of speed into Beckett's. Maybe a little bit too much. The rear of the car begins to turn on him, and around goes Lee Patterson. The race leader spins it away within metres of the start. He's going to rejoin just ahead of Neil Newstead and the JCW class cars, as Ricky Page already comfortably in command of the Cooper class in car with Charlie Butler-Henderson, as he chases Lawrence Davey for the lead of the race into Stowe Corner. Butler-Henderson sees a gap that suddenly disappears as Lawrence Davey moves across, as it is right as the race leader, to take the racing line. So there's no way through Butler-Henderson on that occasion. And then we have got this train of cars for lead the race. So it is Davey from Butler-Henderson, Ryan Road, well up inside the top 5 once more. Neil Newstead under real pressure from Hamish Brandon in the JCW class. And you can see the advantage that already Ricky Page has built up amongst the Cooper runners. Henry Neal just beginning to slip down the order a little bit, but this has been a relatively trouble-free first lap as Darren Chat looks like he is about to be demoted back in car with Butler-Henderson, as he continues to try and overhaul the race leader Lawrence Davey. They head out of Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. Butler-Henderson using the slipstream to full effect as Lawrence Davey covers the inside line as they get on the brakes towards Brooklands. There's no way past Butler-Henderson. Lawrence Davey taking that very, very tight line. The result, he can't pick his way past. It's Rob Smith in third place, and Smith trying to close the gap down to the leading duo. Butler-Henderson moves up a gear and another through Woodcote. So Lawrence Davey leads the way across the end of the lap in towards Copse Corner. Such a tight, fast turn, Copse. Then it's Ryan Road in fourth, then the gap back to David Grady in fifth, and then the next group of cars picking their way along around the corner. Nick Forster in the thick of the action. He's got Luke Reed just behind him. This is another look at how it all went wrong on the first lap for Lee Patterson. Maximum commitment into Maggots, carrying it through to Beckett's. Already you can see the slight corrections as the weight transfer in the car gets away from Patterson. By this point, it's not retrievable. Round goes Lee. The question is really how far he can recover. There's a replay in car with Chris Smith. It's William Phillips just heading past him, and Phillips going very sideways as well, and Smith having to take evasive action through the gravel trap. This is one of the big frustrations of being a racing driver, is when a car around you makes a mistake and your race gets compromised, as you have to avoid their accident. Problem with it happening at Beckett's on lap 1 is that you then lose all that ground down the hanger straight for the first time. Here is the fight for the JCW class lead. What the battle it is, because we've got Neil Newstead just ahead of the mud-splattered Hamish Brandon, with Urkel Lindstedt very, very close attention. as the challenge for the lead continues. Charlie Butler-Henderson looks to draw alongside Lawrence Davey and look for the progress of Ryan Rode, and Lawrence Davey squirms out wide. Butler-Henderson takes evasive action, and that may just give Ryan Rode the opportunity to challenge and squeeze through into the lead. Here is how Butler-Henderson sees it. Davey able to cover the line into the Vale. Great to see Ryan Rode going so well. He has been ferociously fast so far in 2015. He has also made friends with the tyre barrier more times than he'd like to. He can keep it on the island, and then Rode could well be in contention for the win. What about the JCW battle? Well, it's as we were, which means Newstead from Brandon and Linstead, but very, very close as Hamish Brandon makes the mistake coming into Chapel Curve, and the Finnish driver Erkka Linstead able to move past Brandon. For Hamish Brandon, that mistake will be magnified for the long, long run down the hanger straight in towards Stowe Corner. They head around the right-hander at Stowe. Linstead just balancing the car on the suspension, as it would appear as if we've got a tyre change underway. That is Darren Chapp, and it's his front left tyre that needs replacement. So Chapp will lose a little bit of time from that, but will, I'm sure, get back out into the race. Here is our Cooper class leader, Ricky Page, and he is being chased down by Nathan Harrison. So Harrison bridging that gap very effectively. Then we've got the next group of cars swooping through. A little bit of a break in the air to Henry Neal, and the next train in the Cooper class is Adam Davey, who's next along. He's got Max Lever just behind him as they head out of Copse. This is the fight for third place. It's Mark Wakefield who's just ahead of Max Bladen. Wakefield, the dark number 18 car. Bladen, the red car with the Union flag roof. What can Harrison do about Ricky Page's advantage? Because Page, dominating the first race of the weekend, was showing very strongly in the early stages, but would appear to be in the process of being reeled in somewhat. Then we've got this Wakefield and Bladen battle. Just behind them, it is the silver car of Simon Walton. Walton again looking to try and close the gap down. Meanwhile, in the JCW class, Erkka Linstead taking his turn to begin to pressurise Neil Newstead, and Newstead makes the mistake. They make contact coming through the loop. Neil Newstead just ran out wide. Erkka Linstead saw the gap. Neil Newstead tried to close it, but far too late. So Linstead takes the lead in the JCW class down the Wellington Straight. We've still got very much in the mix Hamish Brandon as well. They hit the brakes for Brooklands, swoop through the left-hander and on towards Luffield. Great race this. All three classes have got really close battles for the lead as Lawrence Davey continues to come under sustained pressure from Ryan Rode, with Charlie Butler-Henderson very much in the mix before we've got a little bit of a break back to Harry Volkard in car with Butler-Henderson as he propels out of Chapel Curve. What is Ryan Rode going to do? Rode looks to the outside, pulls out of the toe of Lawrence Davey. Now, has he been able to draw alongside early enough to claim the racing line for Stowe? Davey brakes as late as he dares. The car squirms on the tyres, and Lawrence Davey just about holds on to the lead as they head down into the Vale. But hence what he would really like to see is the two cars in front getting involved in a bit more of an intense battle, slow themselves down as Ryan Rode sees a gap to the inside that club corner and takes the lead. Lawrence Davey immediately looks to fight back, but that was a beautiful pass from Rode, catching Davey completely by surprise. We return in car with Erkka Linstead. What Linstead can see in front of him isn't what concerns us, it's what's going on behind that may be more important, as here comes Neil Newstead to the inside at Copse Corner. So Neil Newstead reclaims the advantage, a little bit of a tap almost. Linstead's got to be careful here to obey the track limit regulations as well. And Hamish British Brandon still part of this scrap. Kevin O'Connor in the blue car also still very much in the mix to pick up the pieces if it all goes wrong amongst these JCW class leaders. So out of Chapel Curve and on to Hanger Straight once more. Meanwhile, in the Cooper class, Ricky Page has been reeled in by Nathan Harrison. So now it's Harrison looks to the outside of Page as the pair of them stick to the inside line and then around Luffield. Ricky Page looks to just pick up the throttle. Harrison, if he sits in his slipstream, will be able just to let Page do all the hard work, do all the running. There are so many passing places here on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. There's no need for urgency early on. Max Bladen then up into third, clear of Mark Wakefield. Simon Walton there fifth in the Cooper class, and that quintet a long, long way clear of the rest of the runners in the class. But we're still going to have to try and squeeze 5 drivers into 3 places on the rostrum. And of course, for Bladen and Wakefield, they want that 3rd place in the class, but there's also the carrot that if they work together, they might just be able to reel in Ricky Page and Nathan Harrison, and the pair of them start dicing. So down the Hanger Straight they come. Ricky Page punching the hole in the air. Nathan Harrison just moves out to the outside, looking to try and gain the place. Will he squeeze through into Stowe? Indeed he does. Harrison takes the Cooper class lead. We're going for a break. Join us in a couple of moments' time.